Hello and welcome to the Inspired Life Summit. This is the place to be to discover how to be, feel, and live an inspired life. I'm Krysti Turznik, motivational speaker, best-selling author, and life coach, helping people to connect more deeply with who they truly are and create a life that has meaning and value. The Inspired Life Summit is designed to take your life to the next level as leading experts and influencers share their best secrets on how to live an inspired life. Today, Kalyani and Darsana are with me. Hand in hand for 26 years, they've been visionary partners in life and business and premier teachers of modern spiritual vitality. In addition to being authors of Ignite Your Relationship, Transform Your World, and travel life educators to their children, they are the principal coaches and consultants of their luxury consulting boutique. They assist their extraordinary clients to access their unique thriving code to live their most spiritually rich life that brings purposeful meaning to their influence, impact, and income. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you, Krysti.
Hi.
And I just want to drop a quick note in there and say we do have a few men that are going to inspire us too throughout this journey.
Absolutely, definitely. Like you said prior to the interview, it's all about the yin and the yang, finding that balance of everything. Absolutely. So our topic for today is money over meaning. So what I'm curious about is, why is it that even though we keep hearing from all sorts of spiritual teachers and scientists that we live in an infinite field and we are all interconnected, yet not many people seem to be benefiting from this tremendous value that it offers to us? Why is that?
Well, I'll start first. One of the things that are happening is as we're going into this era of information and we hear things that are now getting a deeper level of understanding, we also have to go through a journey of experiencing that understanding, because that's what really gives you the conviction, the forces that you need in order to be able to use that in your day-to-day life and how you impact the world and how you make a difference in other people's life. So the big part is that if we have this infinite ability, what does that mean? And what's happening is that people are not yet, that's where we're moving towards, is to have a greater understanding of you have to access this infinite amount of information, this deeper dimensions of intelligence that you have accessible to you at all the time. Otherwise, the growth that is happening is only linear to the knowledge that we have so far as a race. We have to tap into that infinite realm of possibility where all that information is in all different aspects of our life, because it's financially, it's also parenting, it's also health-wise, it's also all different dimensions of intelligence within ourselves. So I think that's the key right there is, okay, now we understand it, now we need to experience it in a way that it really makes a difference and makes a great contribution.
Yeah, I love that. So what are your thoughts then with all of the different practices and rituals that are available to us? You know, we have yoga, we have mindfulness, meditation. Why do so many people, do you think, feel discouraged that things are not working out for them?
Yeah, I think I'll speak to that from my own personal experience. Because I personally, over many decades, have tried all of those things. And it's sort of, at this point, Krysti, it's become like, these are just like buzzwords. Like, it doesn't matter where you turn on the internet these days. And I love it that we have so many people that want to inspire, motivate, uplift, change the world, all these great phrases. With that comes a lot of cliche buzzwords: mindfulness, meditation, yoga, read so many books, do all these things that are technically practices. And there's become this division that says our spirituality is wrapped up in a practice. So what we're doing is compartmentalizing. We find ourselves saying, okay, well, I need to set some time aside for this practice that I'm going to go do. And there's let's say a momentary kind of temporary experience that you have, whether you're taking this really relaxing yoga class or you spend 20 minutes meditating. We even go so far as rituals with crystals and altars and things like that. But it's so compartmentalized that it's a activity that we do rather than those are just exciting pieces that we can add to this congruent integration of living from our spiritual being that we are. So it's an everyday occurrence. Yes, you will do those practices, but those in themselves are not the moment of spirituality. It's every moment of every day, using what Darsana just shared in the first discussion, is what lets us integrate this into our being so that we can be the spiritual being that we are, having our human experiences, i.e. maybe those classes or reading or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a way
you
of living.
Add something to
No,
that?
it's definitely a way of being in the world. It's from the moment you wake up in the morning, you have altered the way you experience life and you go about life in a way that is so dramatic that it influences everything, but it happens naturally because that's who we are. That's who we were about why, when we were first born, when we were a baby, in the progression of life, that's what we were. And what we're doing now is actually activating that natural thriving way of experiencing this amazing joy and glorious world. So,
And we can do those practices, but they are not what drives the spirituality.
exactly.
It comes from our own innate being.
Yeah, and obviously, but we're very smart. If you only apply a certain amount of time to something, and then you go into another, the amount of progress that you're going to have, physiological and consciousness-wise, is not going to be as dramatic as you are longing, as you are craving.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't match. So eventually it leads people to frustration because they're saying, God, I want to be experiencing this profound life that, let's say in our case, we talked about, but it comes and goes. Yeah, but it's always there available. It's a way of living. It's not only something you do occasionally. You can do it occasionally, but what you're going to get is limited from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And that's such a really great explanation, saying it's bigger than what the practice is, right? It's that way of being.
Absolutely.
So how would you then define spiritual vitality?
Well, that's the other part of that also we are moving towards, is understanding that it's not one or the other. It's not the ego or the mind. It's not the soul or the body. It's a merging. It's a merging of being able to understand how important this thing that we call the I, our body, our existence, we call it body, mind, spirit. We're not so caught up on names. It's more of developing this grasp of understanding that knows that you have to utilize both as you're going about your day. You have to be really looking into what are the things that allows you your vitality. Your vitality is that energy information within yourself. What are the things that you're doing in your day-to-day, living, food, exercise, resting, all those things that then allows you to use this thing that we call the mind, the spirit, in function in a way that is higher than it ever has before, and then being able to access the information that is available to you. So we call it spiritual vitality, is because you're merging the physical with the non-physical. You're merging, the spiritual with this. It's a merging of everything working simultaneously.
Yes.
Because that's the other big part that we teach, is that it sounds harder, than it is, because it's not. It's just, again, if you understand that this is your natural way of thriving, you were meant to thrive, just like this tree in front of us, it was meant to grow, just like that bird was meant to fly, we are meant to thrive. But what is requiring right now from the human race is that we understand that there is a merging era of bringing everything that we have grown so far up to this point in our evolution, which we call progression, and be able to take humanity to the next level physiologically as well, because our brains are shaping different. The axis that we are using now that we understand these things is giving us the opportunity to fully use it like we never have before. And the last 100 years has been fabulous in terms of information. Now it's about understanding it and experiencing, using it.
and I want to add in there this dynamic dance that we like to call it, because as we're well aware, like in our Western culture, we're great doers, and we love the Eastern culture because they seem to be great beers. And it's like everything is finally coming to this merging of us listening to them and them listening to us, and we're utilizing that as a way to say, oh, okay, there must be this great dynamic dance between the two, that part of, let's just say as a whole of being, you know, on this planet, having this wonderful human experience is so vitally important, also as equally important as our spirituality. And we as Westerners tend to get caught up in that there has to be one way or the other. Either I'm this great spiritual being and I am broke and I don't need any possessions or yada, 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 or I am this ultra achiever and success seeker, and because of that, I'm not a good person. And that stuff just has to stop. It's never the way we were designed. We were designed to integrate both. We're seeing it, like I said, as cultures kind of helping us say, oh, okay, there is this blend and merging, as you were saying. And that's what we love so much about our teaching, is that I love how I thrive every day. And even in those moments when I feel like I'm not thriving, I know exactly what to do to return to the thriving. And I love sitting in my beautiful furnishings. I don't have to feel guilty about that, right? As, let's say, as coaches and teachers, we don't have to feel guilty that we charge a price, a premium price, to work with people. People want to create evolution and expansion and transformation in their life. And the same way they are willing to pay to go out and have a wonderful dinner with someone, they want to pay to have their life transformed. Again, the merging, it doesn't matter which angle you take it from, it's a beautiful blend, a dynamic dance. That's our favorite phrase.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's, again, we call ours, over 7.6, billion path to the same, to that. It's because we are all uniquely different. Even Kalyani and I mean, we don't know two people who, because we have homeschooled our kids all our life together. We have our business together all our lives together, 26 years.
We spend 24/7
we
together.
spend all the time together. So I don't know two people who are as close as we are. And yet we honor and recognize the uniqueness of each other. And therefore, there's certain things that she thrives on that I don't, and vice versa. And that is so important for couples, but it's also so important for other people to understand it is your own journey. It's a journey of experiencing. So therefore, you have it within yourself, the intelligence. All you need is some guidance in terms of how to go about it. But once you tap into it, you have to be absolutely involved in the process. And that's what is so liberating, and that is what is fulfilling. Nothing else will be able to surpass, will be able to compare, or be able to replace it, because it's your own journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love all of that. So do you have specific methods or tools that you can recommend for someone just starting out on the spiritual path for how to really connect with everything that you've been talking about?
Well, there's plenty. You want to answer that?
I was going to say my first, foremost, and always will be favorite is get out and commune and observe nature. Nature has so many answers. Like literally, I can be driving to the store and see something occur in nature, and that's what it means, how I implement that thing in my life, how I access that part of me, how I understand how the workings are better, and how I can shift in a second. That's my favorite, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some undisturbed intelligence that is available to us through nature, that it hasn't been altered by our biased belief. Because whether or not we want to accept it, we are a collection of certain information stored in our brain. In society, religion, social, all those things influence. But when you look at it at nature, you're seeing something naked, unaltered. And the more you do that is your vibrations, and now we're talking about brain wave, you start living in a different vibration where you have a clarity to see things that other people don't see. We call it the difference between having a VHS live. Remember when we had those VHS, okay? And now we have the Blu-ray, okay? So when you are doing that, what you're doing is you're accessing so much information and energy in every moment that what seems so easy that I see it so clearly to me, other people say, how do you do that? How do you have the ability? How do you have the wisdom? And I'm like, we all have it. But it took me a while to realize is that because they were vibrating a certain frequency, they were saying only a limited amount of information that is available in every moment. So they were not, it's not that they were not smart or anything like that. It's just that they were not. But the good news is, like I said, as you continue in the journey, you are able to access higher. And then when that happens, the clarity that you see things, it comes just like that. And it's just magical how you go, wow.
And I want to jump in there because
Sure.
What I want to say, I'm going to come back to the nature for a minute to bring around that whole point of integration. But what's super important, Krysti, I know people hear this all the time, but Darsana and I are like walking embodiments of it for 26 years since we met. I don't totally know what each of us was doing on the levels prior to us coming together, but I know that we were on some, miraculous journey that was converging at that very moment. But for 26 years, we have had a commitment of morning time. Morning is the beginning of an entire 24 hours. And we have made a commitment to be in that morning to establish the entire day, which establishes the next day, which establishes the week, the month, and it just goes on. It exponentially compounds on itself. So aside from my most favorite thing being to get out in nature, it's so important for people to get that, again, when you do your practices, put them first thing. Don't wait till you're crashing and burning and then bring a bunch of tools out to the table, okay? And then the other thing is like, again, this integration, because they're saying, people probably listen and say, well, nature's awesome, Kalyani, but I'm busy. I ain't got no time to get out and get in nature. And what I want people to get is this integration. Again, for 26 years that we've been together, we go for a walk, like right now, because we live literally a mile from the beach, we go for a walk to the beach. And the time it takes us in that hour to walk there, take the trail, come back, we're masterminding. Whether it's about life, whether it's about parenting, whether it's about our relationship growing, whether it's about how to serve our clients better. And that's what I'm saying, the power of integration. People have to get this part that Darsana is talking about, deeper clarity, so you have those moments to see, okay, it doesn't mean that I have to just find time to go exercise or take a hike or something. I need to learn how to bring this nature that Kalyani talks about integrated to my life so that I'm, let's just say, double timing. Hey, I'm a multitasker. What can I say? I'm good at it, right? That's what we do, but that's the integrated part.
Yeah, and the energy part, is that everything is energy. So when we are being in that environment that has an energy that is so powerful, there's no way it can separate us from it. So it's a dynamic exchange of energy between us, us two, a dynamic exchange of energy between nature and then everybody that we come in contact. Because what we are more excited and what we are so grateful every day is we know in every cell of our body that the biggest contribution that anyone can make is by the way you live your life and how everyone that come in contact with you is impacted by you. Where there's energy and information, sometimes it's just energy, but that's the dynamic exchange that is so invigorating, that allows you then, like she was saying, to be able to integrate something. And then you have so many ideas and energy than most other people. You don't get sick as other people. And people are saying, how do you guys do it? It's like, we are living it. We're not practicing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that about the energy, because that's what I didn't touch on that is so important, is that our masterminds, when we are in nature, are so different than when we're in the house.
Yeah.
They just are, because the access to the energy flow is so much greater.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, I love that. So how important do you feel the power of intention is then with tapping into this?
You said power of attention?
100%, because the computer is sitting on my favorite book of all time other than ours, which is The Power of Intention.
Yeah.
And that is something that, again, it's just been profound practice and daily practice in my life of, I don't set goals and dreams. I don't look at, I don't ever use the word dream, never have, even in the height, and it's still going, but even in the height of people like, live your dreams, live your dreams, live your dreams. It's like, I never saw anything in life as a dream. I said, I'm setting this intention. I don't know when it's going to occur in my life, but I just claim that intention, and everything I now will be directed to access and do on any given moment of my day, of my life, it will be in alignment with that intention that I set for that big picture.
Yeah. The other part is, now we get into some of the things that I'm really passionate about. It's about there's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system, RAS. And what allows you is the size of a quarter. And what allows you is we have so much data coming in through our senses. What allows is for you to be able to narrow the information that comes into your awareness, to be able to be supportive to whatever it is that you're intending to do. So the power of intention is really, really, really magical when it comes that way, because then you're able to see the things, your brain that is so incredibly amazing is able to filter the information, so that way it brings to your awareness what you need in order to take the next step. That's again going to, I was saying earlier about, accessing higher dimensions of intelligence within yourself. That's one that we use a lot with our clients, is that you got to use your reticular activating system towards you, helping you, supporting you, because if you don't, you know what happened? The opposite.
It will support you in the opposite direction.
It will support you in the other. And then we see so many people where their intelligence is working against them rather than to helping them.
And we've experienced that. It's not fun. I'm sure people know. It's not fun when your intelligence works against you.
No, absolutely. And the other thing that happens too is that when you're setting the intention, there's an activation. There's 5 forces that we work with. We call it 5 dormant forces, because they're within yourself and they're just kind of like waiting upon your recognition to be able to be activated back again into your life. And you use them without even knowing. But the first one, which is the force of interest, it works through the intention. You have to set the intention to then bring you awareness, and then you start working on it. So it's you hit it on the nose when you said intention. You're talking my language.
And one of my favorite words.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what I am curious, and this is all such really good content that you're giving. There are so many different spiritual paths and different teachers and just leaders. What is the one principle that you feel we can all agree on? The one that we use to seek our own answers within.
Well, that's easy for me because we talked about it already. It's more life. If you look around, people call it evolution. I don't like evolution, and I'll tell you why I don't like evolution. Evolution implies responding to the environment. Species moving forward, responding to environment, and that means fear, that you're scared, and that means competition. I gotta be better than you to be able to be the one who's gonna leave more of my family in this planet. I like the word progression, because what's happening is life is always progressing towards more life. That's why we have been able to progress to the way now that we have this thing that we call our left brain and our right brain, and and we're able to use it to the way that we can communicate. That's why we've been able to create this technology that allows us to connect to each other. It's always progressing towards more life. It doesn't matter whether it's science, whether it's religion, philosophy, or whatever. We can all agree that there is a thriving energy moving forward in the cosmos that is towards more life. And if we can tap into the attributes and the variable of what that is, then we can do amazing things. We can do things that we have not even imagined. The same way we didn't imagine, let's say 10 years ago, that where are you now right now? What state are you on?
I'm in Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin. We're in Santa Barbara, California, and we are talking to each other. We didn't think that could be possible, and here it is, just like that, Wi-Fi. Why? Because we are progressing now, again, like I said earlier, we're moving towards knowing how is it that we can apply this in our life so we can make our life more healthy, more vibrant with ourselves, with our family, and with everyone we come in contact with.
Oh, I love that. So I am so curious. You talked to Kalyani that you had that book that's your favorite, The Power of Intention. What are some of the books that you recommend that have really inspired you? One for each of you.
Okay, well, besides that one, which I have the special edition, that's how much I love it, okay? Because art speaks to me, and the special edition is like full color art. It's an experience when you read that book. But of course, I gotta say our own book, okay? We wrote a book. We are just Kalyani and Darsana that, again, converged on this planet together and have known from the beginning there was a reason. There's a reason why we, out of 7 billion plus people, converged and merged and came together. It's not, it was synchronized in ways that neither one of us could have fathomed. So for us to then take the time and say, okay, we have something we have to share here from our journey and create a book out of it, that's got to be my favorite. It's like, it's an experience. It pushed me. I'm going to be honest. I want to revise the book, but it pushed me in ways, and I know it pushed Darsana in ways that are so different than reading a good book. Reading a good book and getting value out of it, there's so much to be said for that. But to then sit down and have to write your own is a tremendously more taxing and liberating experience.
Oh,
so, and not only that, but for the reasons we wrote it, that I want to see, as Darsana was talking earlier, that there's this buzzword in the world of, I want to make the world a better place. Mm-hmm. And I personally don't necessarily subscribe to making the world a better place. I think it's a phenomenal place. If we say it from the planetary view, it knows exactly what it's doing. We have work to do. But I want to see more people living this dynamic dance between their spirituality and their humanity and loving life for the gift that it is that we are actually here on this planet, getting this exploration time. So I love what we brought in that book. Ignite Your Relationship automatically transforms the world, because who we teach you how to be in that book, that naturally makes a difference in the world. There's not really anything anyone needs to do so much as that we need to be. We need to be more of who we are. And our book teaches people how to do that.
So it's not like we're trying to sell the book, but
it's awesome.
Okay, this is my perspective. Okay.
Is your recommendation the same book? Your
yeah.
own book?
Well, is the fact that you will take on that journey of knowing something coming through you own. That's what we did. We looked at 20, at the time it was like 23, that was 3 years ago, 23 years of experience of being together. And out of all the things that we learned in that journey, we took what we knew. Knowing is different than believing. There's a big difference. A lot of things have happened in our history, human history, as a result of people believing in devotion, I'm not putting it down. But like I was saying earlier, we're moving into an era of progression that comes from knowing and experiencing. When you're writing about what you have learned through your journey, the tears you went through, the pain that it took you to learn certain things, how you forge your path into life, that's a whole different dimension that then you can then not only give that to another person, like in our case, to our children in the future, but it has given you the opportunity to see that there's a big difference between what you know and what you learn from a book. And again, I'm not putting a book down. I'm just saying, I believe everyone should write their own book. Everybody should write their own book. You know what I mean? Because then that way you are looking at everything that you have learned from knowing. You're not reading something and now you're giving it your own twist. That's different. Yeah.
It's definitely a process, right?
Yeah. It's the difference between me telling you, you know what, jumping out of the plane with a parachute is an amazing experience. It's tremendous. But when you jump out of that plane and you pull that, the liberation, the fulfillment that comes from that embodiment is what the book should be about. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's completely a different book. It's not about what somebody else said and how impacted you. It's about what you have learned through this journey and how is it that you can put it, because we're here to, help one another. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So this is such great advice that you have given, so many different ways that you have shown our audience that we can really tap into everything that is already within us and around us. So I love all of that. And thank you so much for sharing everything that you have today. How can people connect with you?
Well, they can find us on thrivingcode.com. Darsana and I both also have a site, kalyaniroldan.com and darshanaroldan.com. That's going to be the fastest, simplest ways. And then from there, they can literally personally contact us. We are available coaches. We are not, hidden behind these computer screens, nowhere to be found. We are high touch and high interaction, so they can find us there.
Oh, perfect. I love that. And those links are also available on the Inspired Life Summit webpage, along with the free gift that you are offering. So it is so easy to see that really accessing your unique thriving code can help you to live a joyful and inspired life. So thank you again for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Krysti.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely. So this is Krysti Turznik reminding you to live every day like it's a day at the beach. Take care.